So I've been watching a bunch of videos about the metaverse recently and all of the things that are wrong with it. So I just want to throw 2 cents at it and you can take it or leave it. If you're not really into like the internet or tech and gaming and stuff like that, basically Zuckerberg has rebranded Facebook as Meta and has been pouring unfathomable amounts of money into VR technology and specifically his game, the metaverse. It's not really a game, it's more like web infrastructure. I don't know how to describe it. Someone describe it in the comments for me. Garbage pile. 1 month ago, there was a video by RT Gamer that was going around. It's got 2.7 million views at this point. It's really good. Highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. Where he streamed the metaverse, and while it was happening, metaverse's stock crashed by 25%.
Thumbs up.
This is so terrifying when you're smiling.
Trap him.
I can't move
Don't let
anymore.
him breathe.
Don't let him
Don't
leave.
let him breathe.
He dies.
Rest in peace.
Get out,
Why,
get
why
out.
can I hear him? No, guys, I'm here. I'm
do
here.
it. It'll be okay.
I'm trapped in the menu.
Dan, you killed Meta's stock. Wait, what? Shares in Facebook owner dive 20% as investors lose faith. Oh my god, I can't believe that. We actually crashed the economy.
Those 2 things are probably not related, but it is kind of funny that they happened at the same time. Also, Eddie Burback made a really good video. Highly recommend that. That was done a long time ago, and it is beautiful foreshadowing.
What is their product right now? Well, it's something called Horizon Worlds.
Welcome to a place of limitless possibilities.
This is Horizon Worlds. Take a good look at it. What if I told you that this exact experience has existed for a long time? The most popular one being VR chat. This has existed since when? February of 2017?
I'm not an expert in any way around this topic. I want to add that as a disclaimer. I have a Quest 2. I used to have a Rift. Joe has a Vive that we use, but I mostly just play Beat Saber. It's kind of like a workout machine for me. I hate working out, but I can play Beat Saber for like 3 hours, and the only reason I will have to stop is because my body will make me. Even if I'm just using like the base soundtracks, I could play Beat Saber for hours. Oh, and also walking around Japan on Google Maps. Highly recommend. Basically what I'm saying is I'm not an expert, I am a casual VR user. I think, personally, that the whole metaverse situation that Zuckerberg is trying to force into existence has some potential, but will also fail in a lot of aspects. If we learned anything from Google Plus and the Kinect, it's that big companies cannot force their consumer base to do things, and Facebook is the absolute worst at this. Facebook is fully unafraid to try and force what is left of their consumer base into doing something they don't want to do, which is just gonna kill their consumer base. I have not logged into Facebook in like 3 years. I quit using it pretty much out of college. So there's basically 2 major pieces to this puzzle. There's the Quest, the tech, and there's the metaverse, the software, the website. I don't even know what to call it. Hub? Game? I think where Meta has the potential to succeed is in the tech, the actual headsets that they are developing. What's going to kill it is the metaverse. I bought an Oculus Rift secondhand a long time ago, before Facebook had fully bought them out, and I liked it for working out so much that I actually ended up getting the Quest 2 when it came out because it didn't have cords. That was the coolest thing to me. And now they have a new one where instead of having everything in the front, they have the battery pack installed in the back, so it's not front heavy. I think the tech has potential. The thing that doesn't have potential and gets in the way of that potential is the metaverse. The fact that you have to have a Facebook account in order to use the Quest is the most infuriating thing. I would delete my Facebook if it wasn't for the fact that I want to use this hardware. It's not just that the company is trying to force its user base to take a product they don't want. I think that the company is trying to Facebookify VR chat. If we're going to talk about this properly, we need to talk about why Facebook was able to succeed in the first place by beating out MySpace in the public arena. Basically, if Facebook wants to beat out another company now, they'll just steal its features like they did with Snapchat, or they will buy it out like Instagram. I am of the generation that is just old enough to have been on MySpace before Facebook beat it out in the public arena. When I was a kid, one of the really cool appeals of having a MySpace page was that you could basically use your bio as an HTML box, which meant that you could customize almost everything about your MySpace layout. So you could have custom backgrounds, you could have custom music playing in the background when someone came to your page, you could customize your cursor so that when someone's mouse was hovering over the page, you could make it look however you wanted to, which is super cool. That's a really fun thing that you got to do in the early days of the internet. But the flip side of that is that if you let a 13-year-old girl customize her own webpage, she's gonna put sparkly glitter butterflies for her background and make the cursor a wiggly dragon, which is just gonna make the experience absolutely horrible for everyone that is not that 13-year-old girl. Can you imagine using a web page like that? How impossible it would be to see your cursor, how cluttered it would be. But back in the early days of the internet, Facebook was able to offer consumers something that MySpace couldn't, and that was clean design. MySpace was really cool for individual users, but it really wasn't that great for a user base. Being able to customize your profile made for a fun website, but an ugly website. Facebook took control away from all of the users by making their entire website uniform. And it was that uniformity, that base minimalist design that made the website better as an overall experience. It gave users enough customization for their bio, for their profile picture, but not so much that it affected the overall website. Facebook was basically sterilized MySpace. There was a lot more to it than that, but I feel like that was a very big part of it. Oh, I was poking at my face. And I think in the same way that Facebook was a sterilized version of MySpace, the metaverse is trying to be a sterilized version of VR chat. I just saw a video from CNA Insider that says I pose as a 13-year-old girl in a metaverse chat room. And the very first part of it is that they go into a VR chat room. VR chat is a lot of fun, but it's not work safe. The thing is, people don't want to work in VR. Part of the reason that Facebook was able to beat out MySpace was because it was family friendly. Not in a no porn or furries kind of way, in a my grandmother could look at it and her eyes won't bleed kind of way. But the thing is, VR chat is more like a game. It's just friends. It's not family. I'm not getting onto VR chat so that I can go talk with my great aunts and uncles. I'm getting on VR chat to talk to like random strangers and friends. So you can't Facebookify VR chat. There's this like culturally accepted idea that if you follow porn and furries, you will know where tech is going. VHS became a common technology because it meant you could watch adult films at home. You could tell that DVDs were going to overshadow VHS because that's where the porn industry went. Blu-ray didn't necessarily replace DVDs so much as it went alongside it, and I think a big part of that is because porn didn't go to Blu-ray. Because you know where adult entertainment went? The internet. And now basically all of our entertainment comes from streaming services. Adult entertainment did not go to VR, but I think it's starting to. Follow the porn and furries, because that is where technology will go. And that's also why I think the metaverse hardware has the potential to succeed, because there's starting to be a lot of adult entertainment and furry stuff in VR chat and VR, but not the metaverse. No one wants the metaverse. And if they don't loosen up and try to separate the metaverse from its hardware, the metaverse will take its hardware down with it. It feels like Facebook is living in its own past, and it's just desperately grappling at whatever it can to try and stay relevant.
Back when I started Facebook, that mostly meant text that we typed on computers.
Joe, help me words.
Pushing the metaverse in a desperate attempt to make fetch a thing.
Exactly. That's what it feels like. Do you have any thoughts on the metaverse in general?
It's trying to cash in on a market that has already found its audience.
Exactly. That's a really good way to put it.
In
like,
VR chat.
Like, for one thing, you can follow the porn and furries, because if you follow that, you can figure out where the industry is going.
Furries have already designed sign language.
Furries designed, like, sign language, while the metaverse doesn't even have legs. Zuckerberg can't have VR chat, so he's trying to sterilize it. Mm-hmm. To make it work-friendly and family-friendly. But you don't work or spend time with family in VR. That's just not what VR is for.
No. And it kind of neuters it.
Yeah.
Because VR has so many possibilities, and we've seen so. And I'm sure plenty of people use VR chat to visit with friends where they couldn't.
Yeah.
But if you did, you want to make it real personal. You want to personalize it to what you would want to do.
Yeah. You would want to have fun. You would want to be a chili pepper.
Yeah.
Or like a random like cat girl. You're not going to want to be like a version of yourself to go talk to grandma. Because you're not talking to grandma in VR chat. You're talking to like your random like loser internet friends on the other side of the world.
Yeah, and it's solving an imaginary problem in believing it's trying to be the ultimate internet too, when
Yes.
VR is not an improvement on interface or anything like that. It's its own medium, and it has its own strengths and weaknesses.
And it's a naturally developing one. Like VR chat is happening on its own. And Zuckerberg is just trying to Facebookify it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, you don't want to just interact with, like, your family or your boss. If anything, you really don't want to interact with your boss in VR.
The way you would want to is through an email or a text message, and VR can't replace that.
Exactly.
But Mark is trying to do that.
He's trying.
He's trying to replace these other forms of media that we use that already exist, instead of trying to build into a niche that has demand.
Yeah. Basically, it feels like Metaverse is a giant rock. It is an anchor that is pulling the hardware down with it. And if he doesn't separate those two things, the hardware is going to go down, which sucks because that's the thing that has potential. The Metaverse is not going to happen. Not unless it ends up being way looser. No one wants the sterilized version of VR chat. There's just no demand for that. And I think Mark is trying to reflect his roots in what he did with Facebook in the early days of the internet. And it's not going to happen. There's also another really great video from Mental Outlaw, also 2.6 million views from a month ago. Great video. Marquez Brownlee made a really good video where he was a little bit more optimistic, which I really like. But I think a big part of that is because he's talking about it in reference to the tech and not just the metaverse. He can see the potential in it. And I can too, but only in the technology. Maybe I'm wrong. Please, like, help me clarify my thoughts, like butter in the comment section. If I'm gonna use VR, I'm gonna be a thick furry. I'm not gonna be like a cheesy, boring icon of myself. There's too much possibility to not take advantage of being a thick furry. That's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to jump on here and see what you guys think. So please leave me a comment down below. I'm curious. You have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.